Welcome back here to Money Muck on YouTube. The Arizona Nationals have kicked off this weekend. We just wrapped up qualifying and have race day yet to go. We have the highlights from the Mission Foods Too Fast Too Tasty Challenge. We saw who finally got to win the Pomona Winternationals, and we set the brackets for tomorrow's return to Firebird Raceway for the Arizona Nationals. All that and more here in your Arizona Nationals qualifying recap. Let's get into the video. So once again, weather decided to play a factor. On Friday, it was scheduled to have only the first round of qualifying for all three pro categories take place. Weather ended up pushing that back with a little bit of either rain or some issues with the track on the top end causing a delay. That ended up pushing fuel back about an hour or so, I believe, if I remember correctly. And then Pro Stock ended up getting shoveled to go last on the order and then let the fuel cars go first. Well, what ended up happening is because of the delays that the fuel cars had, Pro Stock ran too late and the track was going to be too cold, so NHRA made the decision before they even turned the corner to get into this water box that they were going to push them back, have all three rounds of qualifying in one day today, and that's what they did, and Q3 just wrapped up. We have all the highlights from the Mission Foods Too Fast Too Tasty Challenge. Tony Schumacher with the return to form. He defeated Brittany Force in his first, I want to say, just win in general since 2022. J.R. Todd defeats John Force. A really strong performance from him. He's looking just as strong as he did back at Gainesville. Had a little bit of a slip up with Pomona, but that was just a crazy weekend overall. And then Erica Enders defeats Mason McGahey, who in the first round, when Erica faced off against Greg Anderson, had almost an identical finale to what the race back at Pomona was. It was once again that Greg Anderson had about a 002 light, was running out against her throughout the entire way, but then Erica Enders just drove right around him at the very end and narrowly clips him at the finish line. It was an identical replay to what we saw at Pomona. So again, I don't know what it is about those elite motorsports cars, but they have found another gear going into this weekend, and you can see in the qualifying orders, it is there. Looking at the Pomona winners, Top Fuel, Justin Ashley defeats Tony Schumacher. A really close heads-up race. A lot of people were hyping up Tony Schumacher versus Skag. The one thing I will say, a lot of people have said that I wanted to remind people that this isn't a beef between Justin and Ashley. The one thing I'll say is, if this really is going to be a beef between Justin and Ashley, I think at some point this is going to get personal, and was what we're going to start seeing here as they get this pair up more and more. I think if Tony Schumacher wants to defeat Skag, eventually Justin's going to have to take it personal, but again, a lot of respect shown to him so far. We'll have to see how that plays out. In funny car, John Force gets the hometown win in the next about 2 states over, but regardless, first win in over 2 years. The last time that John Force ran a race was the Charlotte 4-way back in 2022, when winless in 2023, and again, just a really strong performance for John Force Racing. Austin Prog, #1 qualifier in funny car. We'll get to that later on, but a really good run for John Force. Another even better run for Matt Hagan, because Matt Hagan had him at about 800 feet, but the car gave out just at the right moment. John Force clips him at the end and claims his first win of the season, and gets technically his hometown win. So a big win for John Force Racing overall. Congratulations to Darren. I know that's a huge deal for him. He's already freaking out in the chat because he gets to see his hero win his first race with him there. And then in Pro Stock, this is where the big surprise happened, I think, out of all of it. In Pro Stock, 00 Dallas gets a whole shot, a little baby whole shot win over Erica Enders. Erica Enders looked unstoppable all weekend long. She looked even better going into the day, but just falls a little bit short on the tree, and that was enough to give Dallas Glenn the advantage that he needs in order to get the win. In qualifying highlights for Pro Stock, like I said, cold weather pushed him back today, had all 3 rounds, but Jake Coughlin Jr. picks up his first #1 qualifier since, I believe, back when he raced in 2019. On the last round of qualifying, runs a 6.517 and gets her by 1 thou and bumps Erica down to second. He will face off against Matt Harford in round 1, who had a very disappointing qualifying in his return to the hometown. Remember, Matt Harford ran it all the way to the finals and came up just short in the final round against, I believe it was Dallas Glenn in that race, but not this weekend that he is winning. Fernando Quadra Jr. bumped from the show. A really disappointing result for that team overall. They've been struggling a little bit. While Christian Quadra has been thriving, David Quadra has been picking up speed as the weekends have gone on. He qualified almost top half of this, but for some reason Fernando Quadra Jr., that team is just unable to figure it out. They've qualified, I believe, bottom half in a lot of it. I think they had a couple round wins already so far this year, but not the start of the season that they're wanting. Camry Caruso as well, failing to qualify. Her second failed qualify race. The only race she made is Pomona. She did not qualify back at Gainesville. She failed to qualify here again, and as almost a way of saying, as if Camry said, if this could just not get any worse, pulls the parachute, something happens to the car and it snaps. She slams into the inside wall, then turns back around, goes across the center lane, slams into the other wall. It was a very nasty wreck. Thank goodness nobody was in the other lane, because that could have been devastating, but a very hard hit. There was a statement released by the NHRA that said medical staff looked at her while she got out of the car. Apparently, I believe she was awake and alert, because the crowd seemed to be cheering it on, but I don't have any confirmation of that because they cut the cameras from her. But all I know is that the NHRA staff did check her, and then she was sent to a local hospital for further evaluation. But a very rough start for Camry Caruso in her race, where literally last year she saw the highest of her career when she captured her first ever national event win back at the Arizona Nationals last year. Comes back as the reigning winner, not in the show, and now has a wrecked car, and now has to head into the Charlotte 4-wide wondering, or the Vegas 4-wide wondering, what are we going to do next? And looking through the qualifying order, like I said, Trey Coughlin Jr., number 1 qualifier. Eric Enders wraps up second with a 5.18. Jake Coughlin Jr., a 5.28. Dallas Glenn qualifies 4th. Greg Anderson 5th. Christian Quadra 6th. Aaron Stanfield in 7th. Jerry Tucker in 8th. Like I said, David Quadra barely clips from a top half qualifying position. He qualifies 9th. Kenny Delco was a very surprising run in 10th. Brandon Foster 11th. Derek Kramer 12th. Eric Latino 13th. Mason McGahey 14th, Chris McGahey 15th, and Matt Hartford rounds out the qualifying field. The cars that did not make the show: Fernando Quadra Jr., Joey Gross, Camry Caruso, and Sienna Wild Gus. In funny car, highlights for them: Dave Richards gets his first full pole of the season. Remember, they started this back in February, and they had a very rough start to it. They have not made a single clean run through the PRO shootout, through the Internationals, or the Winternationals. And in Q1, it looked to be much of the same. Failed to get a clean run down the racetrack, goes into Q2. They had an onboard with Buddy Hull, and you saw Buddy smoke tires, but when you paid attention, you realized the sound of the car near the lane is still going, and that surprised a lot of people, because we realized, oh, Dave Richards is making a run. Goes down, sets a 4.2, not the fastest run. That's not going to be surprising money, but that is a big step in the right direction for them, because he came back in Q3 and ran another 4.2. So a very good weekend for them. They failed to qualify to make the race, so they again not making the show. Much like Camry Caruso, failed to make it back at Gainesville and fails to make it here at Arizona, but a big step in the right direction for them, because now they can actually get down the racetrack. Other highlights to note: Alexis DeJoria did not qualify back at Pomona, came very close to doing it again. Something needs to change with that car, because that car has been struggling since they got it off the trailer. A very rough start to them. She qualified in this event, let me look real quick, she qualified 15th, so 2 spots in the show. She came very close to having back-to-back DNQs, and that would have been a very bad look considering what we've seen that car do in the past, what we know they can do. Other notes: Terry Haddock, very disappointing run for them. They failed to make the race. They're actually the slowest qualifier, 4.57. Saw them not make the show after a very strong start. They had a really good showing back at Pomona where they got a round 1 win, and then back at Gainesville where they got their first ever 390, but were unable to find it here. Fastest they went was a 4.40. Looking in through qualifying, Austin Prock, a number 1 qualifier, a 3.840. He will face up against Buddy Hull round 1. Bob Tasca again back up in second at 8.76. Paul Lee third. John Force, like I said, very strong showing from John Force. He won the Pomona rerun in the finals against Matt Hagan, qualifies 4th, a very good showing for them. J.R. Todd 5th. Blake Alexander, huge shout out to them, top half qualifying position in 6th. Chad Green 7th. Daniel Wilkerson also deserves some praise. He gets a top half qualifying result as well. Matt Hagan down to 9th. Bobby Bodie 10th. Ron Capps, who came into the day not qualified, bumps his way to the show. A brand new piece for that car, just absolute brand new car entirely. This is the first time they rolled it off all season, and they're getting the cobwebs out, but that car is going to get strong as the season goes on, mark my words. He qualifies 11th. Cruz Pedregon 12th. Jim Campbell, once again, the 08 Chevy Impala, 3 races in a row, that car qualifies. Jeff Deal 14th. Alexis DeJoria 15th, and Buddy Hull 16th. 2 cars not qualified into the show. Dave Richards, and of course, Terry Haddock fails to make the show. Top Fuel, lastly, the kings of the sport. Tony Stewart, 0 clean runs. That was a big storyline going into this, as that team has struggled to get it. Again, it's been said going into this that Tony Stewart did not have that many runs going into. He had 20 runs before he even announced that he was going to get in the car, and then heading into the Gator Nationals, had only 9 test runs overall. So it's still very much of a learning curve, and he's just being thrown into the wolves trying to face off against the top guns of the sport, and it has not been the way that they have wanted to start. Again, 0 clean runs. The fastest they got was a 3.982. But the closest that they got to making a full pole was they got it down the racetrack and the car quit just as they passed the shutoff line. You can see it in their speed. 2:55 is what shows. Other notes, Krista Baldwin, career best result for her so far. She ran a 3:75 in qualifying back in Q2, and she was jumping for joy when she got out of that car. She is 7th. That car looks really good. That was a Pat Dakin car from last year that she bought. Brand new piece for her going into the season, and is looking stronger than ever, especially what we saw back at the Winternationals, and she's going to be making more runs here on the West Coast. Hopefully we see more of her throughout the season. Tony Schumacher, like I said, returned to form once again. Had a big run against Brittany Force, winning it there, but failed to come up just a little bit short against one of the top guys in the sport right now in Justin Ashley. And if you think it's over, guess who he faces in round 1? None other than Justin Ashley. So he's going to have a chance to get payback on him tomorrow and possibly win the Arizona Nationals, a track where he has a lot of history. I believe, if I'm correct, that was the first place I saw a 3-second run, and it was by him. Look at the qualifying results. Steve Torrance, number 1 qualifier, 678. Brittany Force rounds out second at 689. Again, a really strong performance of John Force Racing so far. All their cars are in the top 5 in each of their respective categories. Doug Coletta, the reigning world champion, 3rd with a 697. Antron Brown, one of the Pep Boys, call out a 738, finds himself in 4th. Sean Langdon, the Gator Nationals winner, back in 5th at 750. Tony Schumacher came up short. He finds himself qualified 6th at a 3.755. Krista Baldwin, 7th. Sean Reed, top half qualifying result, a good run for them. And this is something I found funny. So this has been a big epidemic so far to this weekend. Is a lot of hung throttles on the burnouts, and guys will get their respective ways of getting it to stop. Sometimes they'll just back out of it and it stops. It's on its own, and they're able to try and get the car to push into reverse. Sean Reed, no, throttle whacks it, and it closes the throttle from hanging, but sadly, they couldn't get the car pushed back. Sean had to jump over and then do a vault over the wall. I give him a score of 10 for how he did that cleanly. Top half qualifying result for him. Jasmine Salinas, 2nd ever attempt here in NHRA, qualifies 9th with a 774. Billy Torrance, 10th. Justin Ashley back in 11th. Josh Hart, 12th. Clay Milligan, 13th. Big respect to them. They did not blow a supercharger this weekend, so a step in the right direction. They did blow a fuel line, but I think a fuel line costs a lot less than a supercharger. Terry Todd in 14th, Tony Stewart disappointing 15th, and then Travis Shoemaker in his debut in NHRA qualified 16th. Again, that is a brand new deal going on there. This is their first ever attempt. I'm not having the highest of expectations, but I expect them to get stronger as they get more runs under their belt. But he's going to be, again, much like Tony Stewart, thrown to the wolves. Travis Shoemaker's going to face off against Steve Torrance around 1. Tony Stewart, I gotta get used to that. Tony Stewart is going to face off against Brittany Force. That is going to be a big race. But again, my pairs to look out for in Top Fuel is probably going to be that Tony Schumacher, Justin Ashley. Looking real quickly through funny car at pairs I would want to look out for. I'm not really seeing anything that really stands out besides maybe, and it really isn't anything that I can see that really surprises me besides maybe Ron Katz, Blake Alexander maybe. I can see an upset going there. That might be a bracket buster, especially with how good that Blake's running this weekend in Pro Stock. I've already said it. Matt Harford versus Troy Coughlin, Jed Coughlin Jr., 16s versus number 1 qualifier. That's going to be a good race no matter how many ways you put it. We do have video highlights. Let's show those and then wrap this up and then look forward to Sunday.
First gear, second gear, and it was drifting to the right towards the center line. And Camry had to take her foot off the gas to keep the car from... Whoa, hang on, Camry. Wow, down in the finish line area, that thing hung a left and went into the wall. Banked across and into the other one. Camry Caruso crossed the finish line at 142 miles an hour, and as the parachutes came out, that thing hooked a left, slammed into the left wall, and then bounced across and got into the right. When she let the clutch out, it did get off the starting line, but it had the nose in the air, was just drifting a little bit towards the right. She took her foot off the gas. The only way you can steer it is put the front end back down on the ground, and then steered it into the middle. Drove it down. Mason with a 007 reaction time. Not enough. 6.541, 210 miles an hour. Greg had a 002. Erica drove around. Mason a 007. Erica drove around. 6.591. Mason McGahey is going to get himself into the field at least for now. So he accomplished that half of the mission, but he couldn't hold off that Johnson's Horsepower Garage Chevrolet on the other side. Erica, 6.541, and she will take home the mission. Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge.
Angel Sampey, the brand ambassador for Mission Foods, puts a medallion around Erica Ender's neck. She's got a couple of these over the last year, and first one in 2024. Erica, the consistency of this car is pretty amazing. You go out there and you run quick and consistent just about every time. How does that help you as a driver, knowing that the cars, you've got the horse that everyone's trying to beat?
It's definitely important. You have to have a horse and a rider. Sometimes the horse makes up for the rider, and other times the rider works for the car. So in this case, my guys have been just giving me a really great race car, driving very mediocre, but it's okay. We're excited for JHD and for Skag. Randy and Maria here with a bunch of dealers, and for Nikki on her birthday. I know I mentioned that earlier, but we didn't do so hot at the beginning of the year last year, so I didn't have too many opportunities for the Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge, and we're going to see if we can make up for the lost work last year and go after some. So we're excited.
For Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge, glory, cash, points, chips. It's all about the chips. Pretty good side-by-side run if your name's J.R. Todd. 3.974, 316. That'll get it done. That'll get you bonus points.
Angel Sampey, the brand ambassador for Mission Foods, putting the medallion around J.R. Todd's neck. There's the hat, and there's the check. A guy who's should be happy with that one. You got the win, and you went low for the session, 397. Stuff kind of turned around, huh, J.R.?
Yeah, I shouldn't have been complaining yesterday at all, Bruno. I mean, we went down the track, and that's something we were struggling with coming into this weekend. So we want to make sure we went A to B on the first run to kind of set us up better for the weekend. But yeah, once again, got to thank Mission Foods for putting up the extra money for us to go out here and have fun on Saturday. And it got loose down there down track. I noticed a lot of people, once they get on the asphalt here, they've been spinning, and ours did probably dropped a couple cylinders there again. I was surprised to see the wind light come on again. But hey, as long as luck's on our side, like we said earlier, we'll take it any way we can get it.
Drivers both looking to get back into championship contention. Somebody gets their first Too Fast, Too Tasty win. Brittany puffed the tire. She tried to pedal it, but it wouldn't recover. 3.92 seconds, 292 miles an hour. If you'd have told me 392 was going to win that, I would have bet majorly the other side.
Angel Sampey, brand ambassador for Mission Foods, giving the medallion to Tony Schumacher, and there is the hat, and Tony is a happy guy right now. It wasn't pretty, but you turned on the win light, and what potential to turn on a bunch of win lights here this weekend. Great way to start the weekend, Tony. What are you thinking, brother?
Yeah, for Mission Foods, thank you for putting this on. It's a great sideshow, and we love it, man. It's fantastic. And Angel, she did a lot of work bringing this to the sport, so we appreciate it. It was not a great run. It got the win light, and I guarantee this next round's going to be ugly, too. Track conditions are just hotter, man. I mean, there were 3 cars that ran good runs. We'll learn from that. We'll go on and try to win this Pomona final next round against Justin, man. But it's huge. I'm just happy to be holding Big Check, man. I know my wife is too. This was great, and we love these things. You know, normally you just show up Saturday and it's an easy like Sunday morning kind of day. We had a race yesterday. We had a race today. We have a final tonight, and then we have a whole day tomorrow racing. So we love you, Phoenix, man. What a great place.
Jake Coughlin tears up the short numbers, 971, 6.517, 210 miles an hour, and Jake Coughlin goes to the top by a thou. The Skag Chevrolet just bumped Erica out of the number 1 spot. for 334 miles an hour. Put Cornwell Tools in the number 1 spot. Nice job down there for the Proc Rocket. .367, 336 miles an hour. Put Capco on top. 3.678, 336.23 miles an hour. Steve O goes to number 1.
It's got a couple of hundreds off the starting line. They make their way to the top end of the race strip. It's Dallas Glenn. Glenn goes through the finish line with a 6:53.7, beating a 6:53.1. Dallas Glenn wins on a hole shot.
Dallas Glenn just told me that the only way to beat Erica is to not be 00. Well, you had the whole shot advantage at the starting line. You said you guys made a last-second change in terms of weight in the car, and it seemed to play out for you. Close race, and you're holding the Wally.
Yeah, no, it was just a little move there. You know, these guys at KB Titan Racing, they're absolutely the best. You know, we were feeling really good in Pomona. We really wanted to finish it there. You know, had a little hiccup there in the semis, but, you know, we went testing this week, tried a few things, and, you know, they definitely, you know, from the beginning of the day to the end here, the car definitely picked up, and this is a bad Jerry Haas hot rod right here. You know, I got to thank everybody from Rad Torque Systems, Summit Racing, DPF Parts Direct, you know, everybody here that's at KB Titan Racing that makes this possible. That you know, I can't wait to go to Vegas next and share all this with Ken and Judy and everybody from Rad who are going to be there. But this is awesome. Thank you. And let's see if we can get another one.
This, the final of the Lucas Oil Winternationals. Force's car moves around left to right. Matt Higgins' car breaks the tires loose. John Force, the 156th victory in this career that seems endless, has come here. It is a Winternationals victory recorded in front of these rabid Phoenix fans.
John Force, that was number 156. When you started this a long time ago, could you imagine you'd put up that kind of a number and winning the Winternationals?
Didn't imagine they'd have drivers like Proc, drivers like Robert Height, like Hagen, like Caps. I mean, I'm too old to even race these kids, and it's exciting. I give it all I do and fudge everywhere I can. But Daniel Hood and them guys for Breezy and Cunningham, they gave me a hot rod, and so did those kids. And I'm really excited to pull this off. And Robert, thank you for everything you've done. When I'm failing, send me back for new glasses, doing everything, trying to get this old man back in the game, because I got whipped last round. I'm kind of embarrassed and by these kids. But I'm excited to be here for Peak, Chevrolet, GHX, all these people, off-road campers, this list, Power Solar. But I'm telling you, this trophy's for Frank Teagues, because Flavor Pack's on all my hot rods, and that's the way it is, and I don't like it. They like it, but the rest of the world don't understand it. I don't understand it either. But right now, I'm alive. I was going to quit this morning and walk out the gate, and now I changed my mind, Brock. But I told you.
Ashley was out first. Here they go to the finish line. It's Ashley on a hole shot, of course. 3:8:02 beats a 3:77.2 as Justin Ashley has claimed victory with an 0:23 reaction time.
Good things are worth waiting for Justin Ashley. It took 2 weeks to get that Wally he's got in his hand right now. A whole shot victory, something that you become synonymous with in Top Fuel. Does that mean a little more when you're able to do it on your driving prowess?
No, I don't think so. Whole shot or no shot, it doesn't matter. A win is a win, and that seemed like a really close drag race. I'll have to take a look at the slip, but first of all, Tony is a great guy, and they have a great team over there, and I have a lot of respect for that whole team, Joe Maynard and that whole operation. But this is the first official Top Fuel win for Randy, Maria, and the whole team at Metalcraft of Mayville and Skag Power Equipment. And we are out here because of all the Skag users, all the Skag dealers and distributors that let us come out here and do what we love. So thank you so much for all that you do. Mike Green and Tommy DeLago have been fighting this race car. They work so hard. Top to bottom, the team's doing a great job. So just to be able to turn on a win light for everybody at Toyota, Phillips, Lucas Oil, Mac Tools, Kato, Impact, what a blessing it is to be here. And listen, we couldn't finish in Pomona, but it's still a Winternationals, Wally, and I just couldn't be happier. Thank you.
So that is going to wrap up your Arizona Nationals qualifying recap. Once again, be sure to fill out your drag racing bracket bonanza, your brackets for any leagues that you have going on there, because just like I've said since Gainesville and Pomona, this is going to be a good race come Sunday, and if it's any indication for the season, it's just going to keep getting better, and it's going to be something that you want to get in on, because honestly, when you have only one guy to root for, that's the only player you care about, but when you have picks in every single one, you have a dog in every fight, it gets very interesting throughout the season. So be sure to sign up for Drag Racing Bracket Bonanza. Go find your friends, go fill out a league, and go join that. Be sure to follow me on all the social media pages down below. My name is Mac03, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. I'm everywhere. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to share it with your friends and everybody you know to spread the word about drag racing, because again, like I just keep saying, I'm going to hammer this home every single event. This is a must-watch sport, and it's going to keep getting better, especially now that we have the 4 whites coming up. We have Firebird back, and we're going to keep going out the rest of the season. We already have our plans set for May. We have a lot of exciting coverage coming for that. I'll explain more of that tomorrow, and then looking forward to May as well. Hopefully I have some deals working out to be able to make that month even more exciting. So again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Be sure to follow me on all social media pages to keep up as I update you throughout the week. And until Sunday, this has been Mighty Mac, and I'll see you next time.